About 10 years ago, my 3-year-old kid and I moved into a new house. Well, it was new to us, but it was actually a very old house. The inside of the house always seemed to be just a little darker and a little colder than it should be. I had noticed that the first time I went to view the house, but as it was summer, I figured it would save on cooling costs. Soon after we moved in, a friend of mine came by. We were sitting and talking for a few minutes, but she seemed uncomfortable for the whole time. Then I saw in her face that something in the other room caught her attention. Her eyes got big. She said, "I have to go." I asked her what was wrong, but she said she didn't want to tell me. I kept after her because her reaction was kind of freaking me out. On her way out the door, she finally said, "This house is haunted," but she wouldn't tell me what made her think so. Still to this date, 10 years later, she refuses to tell me what she saw. About a week after that night, my 3-year-old kid casually asked me who the old lady in the bathroom was. One day I was leaving for work, but once I got to the car, I realized I needed to run back in the house to get something. I walked into the house, and as soon as I got inside, this framed photo on the wall shot off the wall. Now, I don't mean it fell because of some issue with the nail or anything like that. It shot horizontally away from the wall, not vertically down. And it landed on table with enough force to break some of the tiles off of it. I felt like whatever was in the house was pissed because I came back in, after it thought I had left for the day. After living in the house for about 6 months, I noticed a weird square cut into the boards on the deck. There was no handle, but I was able to pry it up. The hole was just big enough to fit through, and there was a ladder going down. For some reason I went down and found myself in what looked like a homemade basement. It was basically just a room dug out of the earth, no constructed walls or stone supports or anything like you would expect if it was a basement that was built with the house. It was very dark, but I could see over in the corner a suspicious-looking large stone. It looked like one of those light-colored 100-plus-year-old headstones that you see in old cemeteries. Just then some camel crickets started jumping at me, so I got my ass out of that basement as fast as I could, and never went back. Now, this is the part that affected me most and the reason we left the house. One night I was in bed but not yet asleep, laying on my stomach. I heard someone walk into the room. I heard footsteps come from the doorway over to my bed. I didn't realize until later that the fact that I heard the footsteps was weird because the room was carpeted. When the footsteps reached my bed, I felt someone put their hands on my back. 2 hands, just gently laid flat on my back and kept there. I assumed it was my son. I said, "What are you doing?" But no one answered. I looked up and no one was there. I got up and checked my son's bedroom, but he was in bed asleep, and that freaked me out, to the extent that I could not sleep the whole night. Hence we moved out soon after that.